Status Maximus here again, this time with a review and comparison. Yes, I will continue to do wrench reviews until I am satisfied. Now, I do have a lot of wrenches, and it's just part of being a tool aficionado, is seeing all these different types of wrenches and just having the perfect wrench for the perfect situation. So with that review I did of the Husky extended handle wrenches, that was like my base wrench set. So I picked up individual wrenches to help expand that set. I even had another commenter about how they don't like gaps and spaces. And actually that's just kind of life. And then, when you get those sets, unless you spend a lot of money to get the ones that have every single wrench, is you get the sets that you can afford, and then it's called set building. So you just hunt around and try to find wrenches. So that initial Husky set that went up to only 22 millimeters is now the baseline set. And to tell you the truth, I have these wrenches and wrenches that go all the way up to 50 millimeters. And yeah, that's a pretty big metric box wrench. And I will be doing reviews on those. So since I only had a couple of the Snap-on box wrenches, literally, these are my 3 Snap-on box wrenches that I own, and a few of the Napa KD professional line, I was going to go ahead and do just a review and comparison. So we obviously have Snap-on. We have 2 different flavors of wrenches, 3 different flavors I should say. We do have a vintage Snap-on here with the cursive writing. Give you a close look at what the older Snap-on looks like. I really liked that the older ones actually had the size stamped on the open end, which they only do on these carbon wrenches, but not on the chrome ones. Even this older one still was flank drive. Snap-on had flank drive for a long time, and that was a big selling point for them. Even the old ones, they do have straight buckles. There is corrosion inside there where the chrome wasn't so great inside the buckle of this box wrench, but it still held up pretty well. And obviously this wrench has put in a lot of work. We'll give you a close-up look of a chrome Snap-on wrench. Snap-on is really good about making these little bevels here, where a lot of wrenches are sharp. But they do that as a trade-off. This section here is a little bit longer than it is on other wrenches. And they make this arm, or this part, a little bit thinner. And what I mean is, you can tell by the profile, here's a smaller KD wrench, and you can see that they don't have a chamfer, but the teeth are a little shorter so they don't extend past the edge of the fastener when you're using them. And then they have a thicker cross section right here. So that is one difference. Of course, Snap-on wrenches really are beautiful, beautiful flank drive on them. They do spend some time making sure they're pretty well sanded. They're never perfect. You can see there's like an odd over sanding right here. And they make the beam go in the center, so you do have a nice little protrusion, so that they can, sit in the slight recesses. I do like how Snap-on does put the size on both sides. And then we'll take a look at the carbon wrenches, which in my opinion are the most beautiful of the Snap-on wrenches. One thing I'll point out is, see, they didn't chamfer the open end on this, but they did put the size on both sides of the head, and I think that should be a standard. This right here, the sizes on the heads are just the most convenient, because it's easier for your eye to catch the end of a wrench than it is to be looking across these long surfaces trying to find the size when you're digging through a pile of wrenches. And of course the carbon look is really nice. There is an advantage to carbon wrenches. When you chrome plate tools, it causes hydrogen embrittlement of the surface of the metal where the chrome plating is. It's one of the reasons impact sockets are black. So technically carbon black tools are a little bit stronger. This one is also, of course, perfect. And there's another nice close-up there. Now let's take a look at an older KD. These are made by Armstrong. So this is an older one where it is flank drive, but it's not as aggressive. There is undercutting. Of course, the quality of the flutes and everything are pretty nice. Wrenches that were older, really was common for them to have this little protrusion here, and I don't know really why they stopped doing that. Probably because computer simulations showed too much stress rising. So this would be an Armstrong wrench, and this is an older one, and really excellent quality. If you're comparing the old Snap-on to this old Armstrong, Snap-on would be a little better, but definitely nothing to write home about. And then, of course, here's a large. And no, they didn't chamfer the end of this either. But this is the more modern one, KDs, and they really are beautiful. They really are beautiful. They're real consistent with the straightness of the buckle. Even a big wrench, like this 30 millimeter or a little 5/8, they're pretty undeniable. I don't know, the prices are actually pretty close. Napa's professional tools aren't cheap. I was also going to point out that the older KD is similar to the Snap-on, where it has an extended length teeth on the open end, and then it's a little thinner in the cross section. But they actually did. They changed it up to now where the wrenches have a thicker cross section here. There, you can tell that hook is a little more bulbous. If we take maybe both of these wrenches, we can get kind of a good idea of how. See if you can get a look at that. The profile. It's almost impossible to see. There we go. But you can see the profile. They're a little thinner and longer on the Snap-on and a little more bulbous. Or, excuse me, and the same on the old KD, where on the new KD, they really made them have that steep rise. I believe that box end, ultimately, if we were to do a failure test of wrenches of the same size, the KD on the open end would win. Because there's just simply more steel, and the difference of steel between a KD and a Snap-on just isn't that great. There's only so many grades of steel that you will use to make tools with. Other than that, this video is just to compare them and show that they're really close, although Snap-ons are, better. Not by much, and for people who aren't so familiar with Napa's professional tools and their KD line, they really are good. Napa is the largest auto parts retailer in the United States, and they have a lot of industrial accounts, and so their professional tools really are pretty good, and always have been. But you pay for them, of course. And we'll just... So if you do see some of the old KD tools, or even newer ones at garage sale, or even, a sale at Napa, I would definitely recommend them. I do not think you'll be disappointed, and because it's Napa, at least they have a ton of stores that aren't going out of business that you can get a warranty at. So once again, thanks for subscribing. Catus Maximus out.